Hello and welcome to the second video in a three-part series focusing on the importance of self-care. My name is Shonda Talene, and I am a consultant at Patton Harrisburg.
Hello, my name is Erica Karuder, and I'm also a consultant at Patton Harrisburg.
Today we will focus on understanding more about self-care and why it's important to you.
Let's get started with a few important resources we'd like you to be aware of in case you or someone you know is struggling or experiencing a crisis. First, you can reach out to the mental health support line at 1-855-284-2494. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can also be reached at 1-800-273-8255. Finally, there is a text option for you by texting HOME in capital letters to 741-741 to reach the crisis text line. So what is self-care? Self-care has been defined as providing adequate attention to one's own physical and psychological wellness. The last time we met, we talked about the importance of expressing gratitude as a form of self-care and challenged our listeners to spend some time expressing gratitude. We've received several emails from participants who did their homework and shared they enjoyed the task. I showed gratitude by texting my cousins who are nurses and thanking them for all of their efforts during this time. How about you, Shonda?
Well, I was able to share a message of gratitude to a close friend who's been very supportive to me during this time. Felt wonderful. Previously, we discussed the importance of putting on your own oxygen mask first so that you can help others put on their masks. We want you to understand self-care is not selfish. It's just the opposite. Engaging in self-care can help you be a better you for yourself and those you care about. Some key points to think about when it comes to self-care is that it should be intentional and based on what works for you. Having a plan for self-care will help it to become part of your everyday routine. Just remember, we all need to practice self-care. Self-care has multiple domains. What works for one person is not always what will work for someone else. It's important to consider multiple domains of self-care when developing your self-care plan. The domain you choose to focus on for self-care can vary based on time or situations. Looking at the domains on the self-care wheel, the ones that speak the most to me currently are the emotional and psychological. I work to keep my emotions in check by reading self-affirmations and working on my psychological health through self-reflection and journaling. What about you, Erica?
Well, thinking about now, the personal as well as professional domains really speak to me. I'm trying to maintain important relationships and friendships during this time and trying to be safe. The other thing too, since we're all working from home, or many of us are working from home, maintaining a healthy balance professionally has become even more important. So, how are we taking care of yourselves? Your optional complementary activity after this session is to complete a self-care assessment of your own. To access it, you can either type, and you'll see the link on here, https:// lowercase b, lowercase I, lowercase t, dot, lowercase l, lowercase y, slash 34, lowercase k, lowercase z, capital Z, capital C, W, or in the description section of this video on the Patton YouTube channel, click on the Show More to access the link that will take you directly to the self-assessment resource. Complete the checklist and identify 2 or more domains where you feel you would benefit from self-care. Consider the strategies listed on the checklist or even think of your own.
Here's a snapshot of the checklist. You'll just read the example of self-care strategies under each domain and mark each activity as a 3 if you do this well or frequently, 2 if you do this okay or occasionally, 1 if you rarely do this, and 0 if you never do this. You can also put a question mark if the activity never occurred to you, or how about put a star next to activities you really like. After you've completed the self-care assessment, consider some of these questions or have a discussion with a partner or friend. Eric and I have each completed the self-care assessment. Taking time to complete the checklist helped me to see that there were domains that needed attention in order for me to combat feelings of compassion fatigue. It was a struggle not to feel guilty about taking time for myself, but I knew that prioritizing self-care would benefit both myself and my family. Erica, what was it like for you to take some time for self-reflection?
Well, Shonda, it was interesting to complete the self-care assessment for myself. It is something I really have not thought about doing before, and it's such a nice resource. It helped me see some areas where I do a good job of practicing self-care, as well as some areas where I could improve. It also provided me with an opportunity to learn about some new ways to practice self-care that I haven't considered before. For example, in the current time, I think it's important to plan some time away from my phone, from the internet, from email, just to engage in some self-care.
That sounds great, and I hope we hear from participants again about their own experiences completing the self-care assessment.
We would love that. That would be awesome. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing your time with us today. Join us next time for the final video episode in our series, Self-Care, It's Okay to Set Boundaries and Expectations.